Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a diehard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel, where we break down everything you need to know about the Dallas Cowboys. Today, we're diving deep into something everyone's talking about, Micah Parsons' recent comments about Coach Mike McCarthy. Now, if you've been following the Cowboys, you know there's always something brewing behind the scenes, and when a star like Micah speaks up, it's worth paying attention. So, let's talk about what was said, why it matters, and what it could mean for the team moving forward. Let's jump in. All right, so let's set the stage here. The Cowboys have been facing a bit of a roller coaster season. There have been some big wins, some frustrating losses, and through it all, questions about leadership have come up. Mike McCarthy has faced his fair share of criticism over the years, whether it's for his play calling, his clock management, or his overall approach to coaching. But McCarthy has a Super Bowl ring, so he clearly knows what he's doing. Yet in a franchise like the Cowboys, the expectations are high every single year. Now, let's bring Micah Parsons into the mix. Parsons has been a game changer for Dallas since the moment he joined the team. We're talking about one of the best defensive players in the league, and he's only in his early 20s. As one of the young leaders of the Cowboys, his voice carries a lot of weight in the locker room, on the field, and with the fans. So when Micah speaks up, people listen, and that's exactly what happened recently when he made some comments about McCarthy. Parsons didn't hold back, which got fans and analysts buzzing. So what exactly did Micah say? In a recent interview, Parsons talked about Coach McCarthy's approach to the team's preparation and game strategy. He hinted at wanting a more aggressive, focused mentality, something that some fans and media took as a subtle critique of McCarthy's coaching style. Now, to be clear, Parsons didn't outright criticize McCarthy. He didn't say anything disrespectful or harsh, but the tone suggested a difference in how they see things. Parsons has this hunger to win, and sometimes that means pushing for a different approach. Let's take a step back and break down what Micah's comments might really mean. Was it just a passing remark? Or is there something deeper here? First off, when it comes to Micah Parsons, we know he's one of the most competitive players in the league. He's intense, he's passionate, and he holds himself to an incredibly high standard. When he says something like this, it could reflect his desire for the team to push harder, to be more aggressive, especially when it comes to defense. Parsons' style is all about intensity. He wants to play with a relentless drive, and he knows that when he's pushing at full throttle, it changes the game. He's the kind of player who sets the tone. So when he talks about wanting a more aggressive mentality, it might be a call for the team to lean into its strengths, to play with more of a win-now attitude every single down. We've seen the Cowboys fluctuate between bold and conservative approaches this season, and Parsons could be hinting that the team needs to embrace a more consistent, high-energy style that plays to their strengths. Now, another way to look at it is that Parsons might actually be sending a message to his teammates, just as much as he's talking about McCarthy. Sometimes, players will make public comments as a way of firing up their team, calling everyone to bring their A-game. He might be signaling that the whole squad needs to elevate their mentality, especially if they want to make a deep playoff run. When a player as dominant as Parsons talks like this, it's almost like a rallying cry. He wants everyone to match his level of intensity and determination. Then there's also the question of consistency. The Cowboys have had some impressive performances this season, but they've also had games where they looked out of sync. As a player who prides himself on bringing it every week, Parsons might be frustrated with the team's ups and downs. He knows they're capable of playing at a high level, but when they fall short, it's frustrating, and that frustration sometimes bubbles over into comments like the ones he made about McCarthy. Anytime a high-profile player speaks up about coaching, it can affect team dynamics. It can either motivate the team to address those concerns, or it can stir up a little tension. Given Parsons' reputation, though, it's more likely that he's trying to push for the team to step up. He's not known as a troublemaker. He's known as a game changer, a leader. For McCarthy, this is a crucial moment. He can't afford to alienate a star player like Parsons. At the same time, he needs to maintain authority and keep the team on his game plan. Finding that balance between listening to players and sticking to his vision is part of what makes coaching in the NFL so challenging. Now, let's take a look at what Cowboys insiders and analysts have been saying about all this. One analyst pointed out that Micah's comments reflect the attitude of younger players in the NFL. Today's athletes are more outspoken. They have opinions, and they're not afraid to voice them. If handled right, this can be good for a team. But it requires a coach who can manage those strong personalities while keeping everyone on the same page. Another insider suggested that Parsons might be channeling some of the locker room's overall frustration. When you have a team as talented as the Cowboys, players know what they're capable of, and some may feel they're not reaching their full potential. Parsons could be giving voice to that sentiment. So what does this all mean for Mike McCarthy? Well, he's definitely heard these comments, and now he's got some decisions to make. Does he address this directly with Parsons? Does he tweak the team's approach to reflect some of that aggressive mentality Parsons is calling for? Or does he stick with his game plan, confident that his experience and strategy will pay off in the long run? McCarthy has been around the league long enough to know these situations can be delicate. He knows he has to balance the voices of his players with his coaching instincts. If he and Parsons can find common ground here, it could elevate the Cowboys to new heights. But if this disconnect lingers, it might create challenges as they push toward the playoffs. Finally, let's talk about how fans are reacting to all of this. Cowboys Nation always has something to say, and this situation is no exception. Some fans agree with Parsons and want to see McCarthy embrace a more aggressive, bold strategy. They believe it's what the Cowboys need to become serious contenders. Other fans think McCarthy's approach is fine as it is. They believe it's more a matter of execution on the field than it is about changing the overall strategy. Looking ahead, the Cowboys have some tough matchups coming up. Every game counts, and this is a season where they can't afford to let any game slip through their fingers. If McCarthy and Parsons can align on a shared vision, it could bring out the best in this team. But it's also a reminder that in the NFL, managing personalities and perspectives is part of the journey to building a championship team. For now, we'll keep an eye on how this plays out and see if McCarthy and the Cowboys respond to Parsons' call for a more focused, intense approach.